Asia, and the world. They have to start with what I refer to as a new menu with Sino-American fusion, a 21st century chop suey. Now, in the US, one of the things that happens that winds up supporting the US positions towards China is what I refer to as China bashing, which is very prominent not only during election cycles, but year-round. And two examples that really highlight how bad it can get that is not really brought to the fore in the media out here is what happened in the 2000 campaign when you had Dick Cheney claiming that China is going to start drilling for oil 60 miles off the Florida coast because of a deal it had signed with Cuba, which all the media, of course, heralded, and it played like wildfire. The only problem was it wasn't true. China does not have any rights to drill 60 miles off the shore of Florida, and no such agreement has ever been entered into with Cuba. To make matters worse, when the swine flu hit, the Mexicans decided to pick up on America's strategy. Let's blame the Chinese for it. It was pork that was imported to Mexico from China that triggered the swine flu. There's only one problem. China doesn't export pork to Mexico. And yet the media played it up. We have to basically stop not only the China bashing, but the deficit spending, which is something that not only have I written about and others, but the recent Simpson-Bowles bipartisan commission was basically recommending it. It was appointed by President Obama, but they couldn't even muster the 14 of the 18 votes they needed in committee to recommend it to the government. So basically what we know that America needs to cure itself, deficit spending, balanced budget, is not on the agenda. It is a lot easier to have other governments, including China, finance America's deficit spending. Now I'm going to focus on what I believe should be and can be a solution to a couple of problems in Asia. What is China's biggest issue? Taiwan. What is America's biggest issue? North Korea. Unification of Taiwan is only a matter of time. Mainland and Taiwan are getting closer. The U.S. concerns that China will attack Taiwan are unjustified. Selling arms to Taiwan while stopping Europeans from selling arms to China does not put America in a good light. In fact, it marginalizes it in the region. I believe America should reverse course and promote and expedite unity by halting military sales and support for Taiwan. By promoting unification, America can maintain its presence in the region and be a major participant in maintaining peace, stability, and prosperity, just as China can do for America in Latin America. While America is trying to contain and encircle China here, China is doing the same to America in its Latino backyard, which Monroe, in his 1823 doctrine that so vigorously defended Latin America's sphere of influence, has in fact now become China's sphere of influence. We've all read the various economic deals and oil deals and energy deals and banking deals that China's done with Latin America, but there is another area that is not widely reported. The mainland has also stepped into a void created by the U.S. policy to cut military aid to countries that refuse to exempt U.S. citizens from the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court. The result is the U.S. faces the prospect of losing contact with a whole generation of Latin American military officers who are now being trained by China. Meanwhile, retired Taiwanese officers are defecting to China because they receive offers of higher rank, better pay, and housing for their families. These defectors are teaching tactics on how to invade the island in China's military academy. Academies, I should say. The fact is that prosperous China can and will outspend Taiwan on weapon systems, just like America did with the Soviet Union. By the middle of the 21st century, China will probably outspend the US as well if Washington doesn't change its political, economic, and military tasks. Some would argue, and I am one of them, that China is already financing the US naval fleet's presence in the Yellow Sea. Taiwan and China are getting closer. If anyone doubts it, all one has to do is look at what Chen Xiaobian said after he was convicted and what he felt about America and its policies. And I bring this up because many people that I've discussed this subject with in the bar downstairs dispute the fact that, quote unquote, Taiwan is America's aircraft carrier to China. What did President or ex-President Chen do? He sued Barack Obama and Gates in September 2009, accusing him of failing to uphold US jurisdiction over Taiwan and permitting a government in exile to illegally issue court rulings on the island. His contention was that the legitimate ruler of Taiwan is the US military. Retired Army Colonel Al Wilhelm was among the first uniformed officers sent to the mainland at the height of the Cold War in the 1980s to provide advice and weaponry to the People's Liberation Army. Wilhelm is still on a mission of peace. China is going to become a superpower when the Hawks, what the Hawks say about China having the potential to threaten America is true, retired Colonel Wilhelm said. The key, which I agree with him, is how we find a way to coexist. He says, quote, unless we develop mutual trust and friendship, it is likely my 8 grandchildren will be fighting a war against China. In my case, which is why I agree with him, I hate to see my Chinese grandchildren fight with my American grandchildren, having children in both countries. Now the question is, why can't America withdraw its support of Taiwan in exchange for China withdrawing support to North Korea? Help bring nuclear disarmament and stability to the region. Why should China encourage North Korea to disarm without a US trade-off? And this, to me, is the big issue that can be resolved by both governments, since both governments have a common interest in doing so.